like it's for everyone. This ain't for everyone. It's not for everyone. It's to the 12 tribes of Israel, as we read. Period. That's it. Now, how do you fit into that? If you're not of the 12 tribes of Israel, you don't. You don't at all. But we got to be ready. Stay ready. And always be ready. Because look at Matthew the 24th chapter. And it tells us in verse 12, it said, because iniquity, wickedness, and evil shall abound, love of many shall wax cold. So love of many people, the love is going to wax really cold. They're going to be cold. They're going to be cold, cold-blooded, as is written. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. You got to endure. And don't let nobody take you off your mark of trying to make it to the kingdom. So we going to the kingdom. Most High will. We know Israel is going to the kingdom. Hopefully we'll be worthy to go to the kingdom with them. Those that's going to make it. But we got to look at, as I say, as we shining bright in this light, we got to know what to look for and what to expect. He said, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Because we scattered among all nations. When we say going to scatter us among all nations, that's why Paul had to go to these different nations, and Peter, and James saying to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad, because Most High scattered us in all these different lands. Unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So, it says, we're going to be led captive into all nations. And that's what happened when we fell in 70 AD. But we got to know what to look for. And see, that's why I say when we go out and be a light to the Gentiles, it's a light to me, is like a light to our people in today's world, because the majority of our people, 2/3 of our people, are Gentiles in the mind, in the way they think. And they don't really care. Like I just did a lesson on people in darkness and don't even care. But then they suffering. The Most High bringing plagues on them. Most High dealing with them different ways. You got to look at it. When the Most High visit you or deal with you, he the one that wound and heal. He the one that's bringing these plagues on people. You got to change. It's about change. Some people ain't fell enough yet. Or he ain't visited them yet. I don't know. But I know you better change. I know that. Look at Isaiah 49:6. He said, and he said, is it a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Right? So, MASHAYACH said, and I just quoted in John 4:22, and he said, you worship you know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation of the Jews, salvation is of the Israelites. So these Gentiles that are speaking of light to the Gentiles are the Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. You see? That thou mayest be my salvation. That's power from authority on this earth unto the end of the earth. See? That's what we're looking at. We scattered. That's why, look at Jeremiah 50:6. Jeremiah 50:6. My people have been lost sheep. So who's the Most High's people? Exodus 3:10. Hold that. My people have been lost sheep, right? So who's the Most High's people? He said, my people. Let's see who my people are. It's clear if you pay attention. Exodus 3:10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, talking to Moses and Aaron, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. See? My people, the 12 tribes of Israel, because all 12 tribes were in the Egyptian captivity. So the Most High's people are the 12 tribes of Israel. So now when you go to Jeremiah 50:6, now that we know that when he say my people, it's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, the children of Israel, who we are. My people have been lost sheep. See? We the lost sheep. That's what he said. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Matthew 15:24. It all fits together. It's not going to deviate this way or that way. It's going to be the same thing. Okay, go to Hosea, the 4th chapter, dealing with Jeroboam and his wicked self, making them 2 calves, and the lineage after that, everybody dealing with the same thing, idolatry, idolatry, idolatry. Go to Hosea 4 and 6. Hosea 4 and 6. My people, who are the Israelites, are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hear that? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because we don't fear the Most High. And Proverbs 1:7 says, so fear the Most High is the beginning of knowledge. So we don't fear the Most High. We ain't afraid, we ain't scared of him until he visit that butt. Then, oh God, oh, they're going to holler God then. Oh, Most High, oh, whatever name you call him. Save me, I won't do it again. Always crying to him then. Why you got to wait till then? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, you reject the knowledge that's coming to you. In these last days, I will also reject thee. You're going to be a bunch of rejects. That thou shalt be no priest to me. That's why I call them pork chop eating preachers. That ain't teaching the truth. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. You've forgotten the law of the Most High. And you cannot say that, you don't say that we not under the law, but we in the mercy and grace. You don't say that we're Gentiles. That's why I'm going over this light to the Gentiles. We're Gentiles grafted in, don't know who you've been grafted in among. Because you're getting that from Romans 11 chapter, and the Jewish people don't believe in the New Testament. You got a new thing on the earth, Jews for Jesus, you know what I mean? But they still don't know this Bible. They don't know this Bible. You understand? So, I'm talking about from the old to the new, everything going in between, precepting and so forth. Or they be acknowledged that we are the Israelites, and they are who they are. And we're not no Gentiles. But we call Gentiles because we've been programmed to think that we are Gentiles. Other nation, which means nations. What nation we are? The 12 tribes of Israel. That's our nation. We the Israelites. Hebrew is our language. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. That's why you have children that's born of these that call themselves pastors. My daddy was a preacher, and they still lost. And another generation of them that was lost from their daddy being a preacher or their granddaddy being a preacher or whatever, whoever, and they pass it on down to them. So they in darkness, gross darkness, I might say, for us, because that's gross ignorance and not knowing. Or handle the Bible, say, talk to me. Then you'll find out. Simple as that. It's sad. That's why he said, as they were increased, we were increased as a nation, so they sinned against me. We sinned against the Most High. Most High said, all you got to do is follow me. I'm going to bless you above all nations. That's what the kingdom going to be about. We're going to be blessed above all nations in a righteous kingdom, though. Not this wickedness that you see now. That's why people can't handle it. You wicked, then hey, stay here. Burn with this bad boy, because that's what he said. We done read it. The wrath of the Most High, the indignation of the Most High, the fear of the Most High, the anger of the Most High. We done read it in this lesson. What he's coming to do. You got a choice to life or death. That's it. Everybody that hear my voice, you better be trying to understand what this is talking about. Go over it and over it and over it. How many times you got to go over it to see what this is all about, to understand what this Bible is talking about. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. And our glory, men, is the women. He made our glory to be shameful. Women walking around, you don't have to wonder how they look. Body look, shoot, they got everything tight as ever. You can see whatever shape they got. Crinkles, wrinkles, whatever you got. Smooth skin, whatever. See right through them. The clothes all the way, you can see all through them. Our women is shameful. Look at the things on social media that they doing. What they showing? You ain't gotta have no imagination. They showing everything. Look at this. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me over here. Look at me. I'm looking over here. Our glory to shame. They stopped dealing with the brothers. Now they going to other nations like Solomon did. They're gonna be put to death. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the scripture says this. I'm not just making anything up. You know, we married outside of our race, and Ezra, he pulled out the hair of his head and pulled out the hair of his beard. Sat down real sad and said, we have transgressed the laws of the Most High in marrying strange wives. And you know what they did? They got rid of the wives and the children that they had with those wives. I'm not just talking. Let me just go right to the point. Some of you might think I'm trying to be something that I'm just bringing you the word. That's it. Take it or leave it. You'll hear it now. You can deal with the Most High on it. Okay. Not me, but the Most High. Look at it's still dealing with the light, because if you don't know, then you're in what? Darkness. You ignorant, right? You're still dealing with the light. So First Ezra in the Apocrypha, and Ezra in the Bible, and Nehemiah in the Bible, and Deuteronomy, the law. We just read over the law because we went through Solomon. What he did. First Ezra 8 and 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and the Levites, this First Ezra 8:69, have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions, you know, pollution is real nasty, of the Gentiles, of these other nations, to wit, of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, those are all so-called African, Hamites, and the Moabites, Chinese, all these indigenous, aboriginal, Egyptians, Moab Africans, and Edomites. See? So-called white people. For both they and their sons have married with their daughters. We read the law in Deuteronomy 7:3. And the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land. Remember Solomon dealt with strange wives, strange people of the land. And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity. Thus say the Most High. And as soon as I heard these things, like I told you, I rent my clothes. He tore his clothes and the holy garment. He tore the holy garment and pulled off the hair from off his head and beard and sat me down sad and very heavy, right? So let's go to 1 Ezra 9 and 7. 1 Ezra 9 and 7. So Ezra arose up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Israel. Right? So verse 36, what did they do? All these had taken strange wives. You know, they naming all these different men that did this. And they put them away with their children. So I'm not just talking. But say, I can't speak unless I can prove it in the scriptures, in our story, which is the scriptures is our story. So you see, that's what they did. They married strange wives and they put them away. So let's look at Hosea 4. Remember, Jeroboam was an Ephraimite. He was over the northern tribes. So listen what it says. And Ephraim is considered the northern tribes a lot of times. And Judah considered the southern tribes. So Hosea 4 and 17, it says, Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. Hear that? Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. The general idolatry, the Most High said. Say, leave him alone. So that's why you see, when you read the Bible, the majority of the time it's talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And some of the tribes, the northern tribes, was hanging out. You know, they was down with us, but it was mainly Judah, Benjamin, and Levi that you read about when you read the Old Testament. After Jeroboam made that calf, and the Most High sent the Assyrians to put them in captivity. They went into captivity. He put them in captivity under the Assyrians. So look at Hosea 11. Let's look at Hosea 8 and 8 first. Say, Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles. See? Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. Right? That's why Paul was, like I say, reaching out to the Israelites in these different lands. He's talking to Israel. Hosea 11 and 12. Ephraim compasses me about with lies. Ephraim talking about the northern tribes. Compassing me about with lies. And the house of Israel with deceit. Family of the Israel, that's the northern tribes, with deceit. But Judah yet ruleth with the Most High, and is faithful with the saints. See? Judah's a head tribe. He said Judah ruled with the Most High, but Judah went off too. Just like Israel went off. And is faithful with the saints, though. But the Most High said Judah is his lawgiver. He made Judah his lawgiver. That's why you see, if you look around, you'll see majority of the people that's really dealing with this truth. If y'all want to say that the Israelites scattered among all nations, then where are the Israelites that scattered among all nations that's bringing forth what I'm bringing forth, or what brothers is bringing forth that know this Bible, that's bringing forth this truth? Where they at? That ain't been taught by us, I'm saying. Bringing back our nation. If we got to wait for them, that's somebody that's outside of America, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Because ain't no foreigners over here in the streets and doing whatever they doing to bring us back to us, the fact that we the Israelites, and the Most High is the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Mashayacha is a black man that walked the earth and coming back to judge and make war and set up righteousness on this earth. Where is that at? Where is it at? That's why I ain't tribe banging. Who it is that's going to be doing this work? Who is that going to be continually going to endure to the end? Who is that? If I might ask. Because let y'all tell it, y'all, if you waiting on somebody from some other country to come up to raise us up over here, when is it going to happen? I see us doing it. I don't see nobody else. Compare the two. What we're doing here and anybody else in any other country. I ain't talking about somebody that went to another country and is teaching them. I'm talking about they in the country, you go there and they're going to teach you you're an Israelite. And go through what you're learning now. Since y'all say the tribes are somewhere else, how long we got to wait for them to wake up? When we woke now. Come on, just use some common sense, man. People don't have common sense. I mean, do that make sense to y'all? Make clear sense to me. So I remember going to the Passover, and Naphtali stand up. One dude. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, we got to get 143,999 before we can get up out of here. That's what 11,000, so like 11,999, because it'll be 12,000 of each of the tribes. I'm like, man, we got to get 11,999 out of 12,000 because only got one dude standing up and talking about you the only one's got the truth. As they say now. Come on, man. And we scattered among all nations. But here's the great rising of Yasharahla right here in America. Where else? Name it. Name it. As I start putting out the brothers that's doing it, you bring somebody that you can bring that's doing it. Like we doing it here. As Israelites. From another country I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those that are us that's right there. I'm talking about even if you go there.